Hi, and welcome to the Discerning Your Call to Church Planting module. My name is Len Tang, and I am a husband, a father to three boys, a Fuller grad, and a Fuller staff person as the director of church planting, and I'm someone who's planted two churches. I'm really excited to journey with you in this learning module. You know, at Fuller, we are excited to help equip women and men to follow God's call to plant churches that plant churches and transform their communities for the sake of the gospel. You know, church planting is hard work, to state the obvious. If you think of church planting as all the normal demands of a normal ministry position, plus adding on all the vulnerability of being, say, a stand-up comic, just you out there alone or feeling alone, and then on top of that, add the sense of being an entrepreneur who's starting a new business, and you roll those all together, that's kind of what it's like to be a church planter. The work is difficult and challenging, and that's why the work of discernment is so hard, because the stakes are high in either case. If you're someone who is called to church planting, if God has equipped and called and gifted you for that work, then you may be a person that God uses along with a team of people to start a new community of faith in a city that God has put on your heart. And that plant may go on to plant other churches, to bring the saving of many people in that city. It could be part of restoring marriages, of transforming communities, of having a kingdom impact in that community. On the other hand, if you're part of a church that ultimately doesn't make it, it's the source of a great deal of disappointment, of professional loss, sometimes of broken relationships, and even the loss of tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars that have been poured into that church plant. And so the stakes are really high either way. That's why this module on discernment is so important. You know, there's a lot of different parts to planting a church, and we're going to try to unpack each of them as we go through this process. And the work of discernment is itself a journey. It's a journey of understanding more of who God has made you to be. It's a journey of reflecting on your past, as well as your present and your future. It's digging into the areas of your own brokenness and sinfulness. It's discovering some of the strengths and gifts that God has given you that are not fully tapped into. It's looking at the array of relationships that God has put in your life and reflecting on what He's done through them. So I believe it's going to be a time that's going to be both tremendously encouraging to you as you reflect on God's providence and grace in your life, and also a time of great challenge as you're sort of poked and prodded and probed a bit to see the places where God wants to grow you or to bring other people into your life to help you grow and to partner with you in the work of church planting. So this is a journey that matters, not only for you and your own sense of vocation, but to God's kingdom. You know, Jesus said, the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. Ask, therefore, that the Lord of the harvest would send workers into His harvest field. You may be one of those workers that's being called right now, and I'm excited to be with you on the journey. There's so many people in our country and around the world who are unchurched, who don't know Jesus Christ, or are leaving the church, the so-called nuns. In fact, the rate of church planting in our country would have to double or even triple in order to keep up with the population growth and the rising number of nuns who don't intend to worship anywhere. So we hope and pray that God would use this as part of your discernment to be a planter who can help reach people with the good news of Jesus Christ. So again, welcome.